All right. This video goes out to QNV, who is in the Netherlands, and he likes to help out Jake the asshole. So, in general, I agree with this particular diagram. Um, Even though there are some locations in the ocean, but we won't worry about that. Essentially, when you are looking along one particular plane where someone is supposed to be getting sunsets and sunrises all at the same time, and they're all looking 90 degrees to their right, they're looking directly east, or they're looking directly west, depending on whether or not your sunset or sunrise. And of course, in this particular area, it's showing a sunset straight, like a sun meridian zenith straight over the top of Java in Indonesia. In general, I agree. This is a very, very good diagram to show how the A map is broken. And what I've done is I've gone and done my own version. As you can see here, it's basically the same thing. I didn't get the quite same line because there is no line there. So it was coming through like almost Cape Town, and my one doesn't show one going through Cape Town, so I didn't bother. So what I did was I chose the one that's going through, looks like Cairo, and looks like it's going through Finland. And as you can see, I've done my strike points at not only the equator, but this dotted line here, this is the two tropics. So I put my distance on the two tropics. I made these lines about the length of north to equator, so it should be like 10,000 kilometers. So it's 10,000 kilometers from North Pole to the equator, and I've made about 10,000 kilometers long in this way. So there's like 10,000 there and 10,000 there. So it's a 20,000 kilometer long line. And as you can see over here, I've put another 10,000 kilometer line out here, and I've gone up 4,800 kilometers to represent what some people believe is a 3,000 mile high sun, which is supposed to be 32 miles wide. And I've made it obviously somewhere about 50 to 60 kilometers wide. And as you can see, it's over the top of it's not Borneo. I think that's Sumatra or something like that. I think. I might have got that one wrong, but I'm sorry if I've insulted your country. That's fine. Okay, so generally I agree. So if you're in one of these areas here, when the sun is sitting over here, you're going to see a sunrise, rise from the east and go over to where you are, and then it's going to set in the west. And for anyone, let's see, it sort of aligns with Hawaii to some degree over here. So if you're over in Hawaii or Tongan Islands or something like that, it's going to be setting in your west at the 270 degrees straight. So everything is dead on line, and it's like, well, that doesn't work on the AE map. But there's one thing that while QMV and Jake can say, yep, this definitely helps us out, this proves the point, there's something missing. And I think that they need to get what that part is missing on their maps so that they can further, digest what's going on here. So, on my layer 2 here, I have shown this visible now. So this should be fairly well understood. So, if you're looking at this particular direction, if you are on the equator during the middle of equinox, it's like the middle of it's the middle position of the latitude, and it's the middle point of the year. So the sun will track directly overhead. It hits dead on zenith, on meridian, straight overhead. So during high noon, the sun is directly overhead, and then it will go right back down to sun setting over on the western side. So very, very easy to understand. So this particular thing needs to be added to QNV's diagram so that he is telling the whole story. And the third element, which also needs to be added, right, is the fact that if you are down at the South African areas, right, the sun will track over on the northern band of you, right? But if you're up in the Cairo areas or you're in southern Egypt type areas, the sun will track to the southern end of you, and it will. And not only will they also rise in the east and set in the west, but this is the paths that they take. Now, I think this is important for Q and Fee to take this on board, to understand the other reasons why this particular model doesn't work. Because as you can see here, how the hell do you triangulate the sun if the sun is supposed to be directly overhead, but it seems to have triangulated like what looks to be 1/3 below where it's supposed to be? Maybe it could be a scenario that it comes up and it's only going 1/3 high and then lands, but I don't really think that's really the case. It gets more and more confusing the more graphs that you put further out, because the points where they align will start to hit at different locations. I'm sure if I got one that was only a couple of miles south and a couple of miles north, it would triangulate up here, right? But if you were down down on the edge of the South Pole, it'd probably be triangulating over here, and that needs to be taken on board because this is the sun path that is happening in these particular countries and these particular locations. But there's a much easier explanation. See, if you unravel this diagram so that they all line up straight, right? This one's straight, and you peel this one back so it lines up straight. Peel back this one lines up straight. You get a globe.